Let me give you an example. And this is where it became the most apparent for me. Back in the university, I think I talked about this in another video. I think Engineering Obsession, if you can find it on my YouTube channel. I was talking about the fact that I set a goal for myself, and the goal was I wanted to graduate with a first class degree, which I ended up doing. But let me tell you how. And I believe that every rule or every what applies in one place can be transferred into other places, and this principle is what I've used many times in my life, over and over, in working, making money, and all of that, and it has worked. And that's why I like to go to the barest and most relatable example, which is school. So what I did is I set a goal. I wanted to graduate with a first class, right? But then I had to accept something. The fact that I wanted to do this doesn't mean it is just going to happen. Of course, there's the work and there's the whatever, but there's still the other side that I could still fail. So while I'm using visualization, I'm imagining myself. I close my eyes. I'm imagining myself. I'm seeing myself going to the board and seeing all A's. I'm even imagining somebody that usually we go to check our results together. AY, shout out to you if you're watching this. And he's like, man, look at your result. This is so great. Like, the whole excitement and me leaving that place like, this is awesome. And then also after I do that, I don't do this other side as much, but I still do it once in a while. I imagine, man, like, what if I get there and what if I failed, right? What happens? I imagine how sad I'll be. I imagine how disappointed I'll be. I imagine you know, how it would affect my overall goal. And ultimately, the reason why I set my a target for, graduating with the first class was because when I finished secondary school, I had a terrible results. And then anytime we go and meet people, they'll be like, if he just had graduated with this, if he just had this score, I would be able to help him. So one of the reasons why I set a goal for, coming out with the first class was no matter who you are, no matter where you are, you can't say it was my fault that you can't help me. So if you're not going to help me, you're not just going to help me, and that's fine. So imagine, like, man, so if I fail, it means I won't be able to get the first class, which means my overall goal will not be able to, will not eventually happen. So I imagine that happening. And that also jolts me with motivation.